My child, I am mending the story you thought was torn beyond repair. The chapter you called failure is the field where I planted a hidden harvest. The voices that told you, too late, spoke from a calendar I did not write. I am not late, I am precise. I will not compete with the clamor of panic, but I will rule over it. I am not the author of confusion, I am the one who gathers scattered pieces and names them whole. I am not the whisper that says, "You are unworthy," I am the breath that declares, "You are mine." You have walked through rooms where kindness was rationed and joy felt rented, not owned. Hear me, you will no longer rent your joy. You will no longer borrow peace from tomorrow only to repay it with interest tonight. I am giving you title to peace, title to favor, title to a future that cannot be evicted by fear. You have asked me, quietly, if I saw the private places where you were misunderstood. I saw. I saw every time you swallowed words to keep a fragile peace, every time you gave when your hands were already empty, every time you smiled so someone else could find strength. I saw you choose integrity when shortcuts flashed their counterfeit light, and I wrote those choices in a ledger heaven honors. Not one act of faithfulness is missing from my remembrance. Not one step through darkness is lost in my sight. I have stored them like oil in a lamp, and I am lighting it now, because the path is changing beneath your feet. Archangel Michael stands at your threshold as a sign that warfare has an end and that endings can be gentle when I decree them. The swords that clanged around your name are being sheathed. The verdicts pronounced by envy are dissolved. The traps mapped by whispers are exposed to daylight and crumble like dust. Michael does not arrive to frighten you but to remind you that angels have studied your life, and heaven has protected details you do not even know were threatened. The arrangement of your steps has been strategic, even when it felt chaotic. The detours were not punishment, they were corridors of preservation. You thought delay was denial. I used delay to edit the danger out of your journey. Do not trade this moment for familiar pain. Do not climb back into the cage of old conclusions. Do not apologize for healing because someone prefers the version of you that did not know its worth. You are not the rumor of what went wrong, you are the announcement of what I am making right. I am returning stolen time, not as seconds but as strength. I am returning opportunities, not as frantic windows but as doors that stay open long enough for you to walk through with dignity. I am returning relationships, not to replay the old pattern but to reveal the difference between loyalty and convenience. I am returning resources, not to fuel anxiety, but to finance peace, purpose, and generosity. Listen to the rhythm I set over your days. I speak and storms lose their vocabulary. I speak and boundaries renew their meaning. I speak and what resisted you must release you. Your name has been called in rooms you have not entered yet. Your work has been noticed by eyes you have not met yet. Your faith has sent a fragrance into atmospheres your feet will soon occupy. Do not minimize what I am doing because it began quietly. Oaks begin as whispers beneath soil, earthquakes begin as murmurs deep in unseen places. The quiet work I did in you is already becoming a sound in the open. I forgive the season when you mistrusted your own prayer because the answer did not arrive with fireworks. I forgive the moments you believed the lie that I was kinder to others than to you. My kindness toward you has been a river running under desert ground. It did not announce itself, it nourished roots. That is why you did not die in the drought. That is why you still reach for light. That is why hope, though bruised, is stubborn within you. I am not ashamed of you. I am not disappointed in slow healing. The timeline of your wholeness is not a court sentence, it is a garden schedule. Let my patience teach you how to be patient with yourself. Let my delight cancel the curriculum of shame. You fear that if you open your hands, loss will repeat its lesson. Hear me, the lesson has been graded and filed away. The exam that tested your trust will not be given again. You passed by choosing me over bitter conclusions, by returning to me when easier altars invited you. I break the cycle that convinced you every good thing must be paid for with dread. I break the superstition that scans joy for hidden knives. I break the reflex that prepares a eulogy before the celebration begins. This blessing does not hide daggers. This promotion does not carry poison. This door does not lead to another maze. When I open, I do not trick. When I give, I do not threaten to take back. When I lift, I do not leave you dangling. I am training your language, because miracles arrive through the corridor of agreement. Speak as one who expects me. Speak as one who remembers the wilderness but refuses to worship it. Bless the places where you were once broken, not because brokenness was beautiful, but because I was faithful in it. Give no stage to the theater of what-ifs. Give your breath to gratitude that does not negotiate. Gratitude will be the key that turns the lock on the next room. Honor small confirmations and they will multiply. Guard your morning and the morning will guard your decisions. Guard your night and the night will return your rest. Michael's presence is a decree, the siege is over. The habit of bracing for impact ends here. The subtle alliances that smiled at you but shook hands with fear are being revealed and removed. You will not need to shout to be heard in this new season. Your clarity will carry its own sound. The promise I placed in you has matured from a fragile seed into a steady tree. It no longer depends on favorable weather to live, it has found the aquifer of my word underneath your life. Even in heat, it will not wither. Even in wind, it will not break. The leaves of this season will not tease you and fall before fruit. Fruit is my answer to the years that tried to starve your expectation. Stretch your hands. I am placing counsel in your left hand and courage in your right. I am putting wisdom in your pocket and peace in your shoes. Walk differently. Check the locks on old prisons, many are already open. Test the weight of old names, many will fall off when you breathe. Try the doors you stopped trying, they have been rehung on new hinges. Look again at the work you abandoned when fatigue called itself final. The pattern I'm giving you is sustainable. It partners with rest, not rivalry. It honors pace, not panic. It keeps room on the calendar for wonder and room in your heart for interruption, because blessing is arriving by routes you did not program. Do not argue with grace by insisting on penalties I did not assign. Do not delay morning by rehearsing midnight. Do not rehire the critic who only knows your former address. I am renaming certain days that you associated with pain. I am rewriting anniversaries and breaking the loop of dread tied to dates and places. I am taking the sting out of certain rooms and giving them back to you as testimonies. You will sit where you once trembled and your breathing will be slow and unafraid. You will visit the conversation that used to undo you and you will carry authority, not anger. Your memory will no longer be a courtroom, it will be a museum where you glorify me for preservation and rescue. Provision is moving. Some of it will look ordinary from the outside, an email that arrives on a Tuesday, a meeting moved to a different time, a yes from a person who usually says no, but recognize the timing. I am threading small hinges that swing large doors. Expect the unforced opening. Expect the aligned conversation. Expect the quiet sign that shouts inside you. Do not apologize for favor. Do not whisper your testimony to protect someone else's unbelief. Do not shrink your miracle to fit an old narrative. You are not obligated to keep pretending you are still lost after I have guided you home. I am also touching the circle around you. I am appointing helpers who carry humility like a lantern, not a spotlight. I am sending companions who can celebrate without competing, who can correct without crushing, who can hear without hurrying you past your heart. Some connections will release with a soft sigh, let them. Some ties will loosen without scandal, bless them and walk on. New bonds will form at the speed of peace, not the speed of fear. Measure alignment by fruit and presence, not by noise. The ones I send will recognize the scent of my work in you and will water it without asking to own it. Lift your eyes to the horizon I stretched for you. The sun that looks ordinary to others will look like promise to you. The small breeze that others ignore will feel like a herald to you. I am teaching you to read the weather of grace. When clouds gather, you will not panic, you will know when to receive rain and when to rest under shelter. When clear skies spread, you will not waste them with worry, you will plant bold and early and with joy. Your seasons will cooperate with calling because I am Lord over both. Harvest will not mock you. Effort will not exhaust you the way it once did. You will learn the luxury of obedience, the wealth of contentment, the power of daily bread that never runs out. Now, my child, let your house agree with what I am doing. Remove the altars of anxiety disguised as planning. Keep the tools, lose the torment. Write what I nudge you to write. Build what I breathe on. Repair what I touch. Release what I no longer bless. Open your windows to praise, even when no melody is convenient. Bless the rooms with the name of Jesus. Bless your sleep with the promise of psalm-shaped rest. Bless your table with expectation of laughter that isn't borrowed. Bless your doorway with welcome to wisdom and a closed sign to confusion. I place a seal on this word, it will not fall to the ground empty. It will accomplish what I sent it to accomplish. It will run ahead of you into meetings and soften what used to be hard. It will stand behind you when old shadows try to negotiate for your attention. It will sit beside you when decision time comes and tilt the scales toward life. Keep this message near. Read it aloud when the hour feels thin. Whisper it when rooms are crowded and you feel small. Shout it when you need to remember that I never left. Michael remains posted, not as a museum piece but as living assurance. The battle is resolved in the heavenlies, and the earth is receiving the verdict now. Do not skip this moment. Do not barter away your opening for a familiar ache. Do not call ordinary what I have called set apart. Walk through the door I opened, and keep walking. The door of blessings is not a rumor, it is here, it is wide, and it bears your name. I am the one who writes names on doors that cannot be stolen. I am the one who keeps watch when you finally sleep. I am the one who turns keys and makes a way where language fails. Receive this word, hold it like warm bread, and eat until strength returns to the places that trembled. The season that starved you has ended. The table that feeds you has begun. Listen to me, the timing of heaven is resting on your obedience. You have been close to a turning, and the enemy has fought to make you delay, to distract you with little fires while the sunrise is already on the horizon. There were hands that clapped for you in public and worked against you in private. There were promises given to you with smiles that hid envy behind their teeth. But God says, I have made a record of every whisper against you and every prayer from within you. I do not judge you by the confusion you felt, I call you by the faith I planted. What you thought was a setback was a setup, what you called rejection was correction. What you called being forgotten was a hidden place where your roots went deep enough to carry fruit without snapping your branches. You think it has been meaningless, but the seasons that seemed empty were where heaven wrote your name on doors you have not yet touched. The fatigue that tried to make you quit was only the last gate before the garden. I have been walking the border of your life with a flaming sword, not to keep you out but to keep the poison out, trimming the edges so that what tries to sneak in can be seen for what it is. The delay was protection. The silence was alignment. The closed mouths were mercy. The closed doors were proof that God will not allow you to live beneath your calling just to satisfy your impatience. Hear me, There is a blessing that has learned your name so well it will not miss your address again. It is scheduled, signed, and sealed. The enemy's only strategy is to convince you to leave the house before the package arrives. He tries with irritation, with offense, with false urgency, with sudden fear that something terrible will happen if you don't pick up what he throws. But heaven says, stand at the door and wait. The miracle is closer than the knock you imagine, and the sound of fulfillment is already echoing through the hallways of your days. There is a person who thinks you don't see their intentions. You have felt them circling, testing the strength of the gate. You felt small stings, comments that demeaned you just enough to make you doubt your own eyes, favors demanded as if kindness were debt, smiles that were mirrors with no warmth behind them. God says, do not fear exposure. I am moving you, not because the storm is stronger, but because your seasoning is complete. The moment you choose obedience over habit, the net that held your feet will break by itself. You do not need to fight to be seen, you need only to be found in the place I am calling you to stand. Humility is not hiding. Humility is standing tall and letting me be your height. My child, you prayed small out of fear of disappointment. You asked for drips when I designed rivers. You asked for survival when I authored overflow. You asked for a little peace when I planned a peace that not even your old memories could disturb. So hear what God says, lift the measure of your asking to the size of my heart. The promise is not fragile. Your destiny does not walk on eggshells. Your future does not depend on the permission of those who try to tame you. I will not let your tomorrow be negotiated by yesterday's voices. I am sent to touch the memories that ache in your chest. There were rooms you left to save your soul, and sometimes you question whether leaving meant you failed. You did not fail. You refused to die. You kept breathing when the air felt like glass. Heaven recorded the night you forgave someone who never apologized, and the ledger of mercy you extended has been multiplied back to you. Do not be surprised when compassion returns as opportunities, when patience returns as promotion, when secret tears water public breakthroughs. God does not waste pain, He transforms it into keys. You are about to open what made no sense before. Pause and listen. There is a gentle weight in the air now, a holy heaviness that is not oppression but presence. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Breathe in and tell your bones, we are safe. The fear that tried to steal your sleep has already been served notice. I am stationing guardians at the thresholds of your mind so that stray thoughts will not build kingdoms on your pillow. I am correcting the rhythm of your day. The early hour will carry clarity, the midday will carry favor, and the evening will carry rest. You will wake without the background dread. You will walk without rehearsing disaster. You will lay down without counting mistakes that do not belong to you. Now hear a specific instruction. There is something in your space that carries the weight of an old season. You know what it is. It could be a message you reread to punish yourself, an object that remembers a wound, a number you kept out of fear or hope, a plan you wrote when you were trying to impress what didn't deserve you. Release it. There is a motion in heaven that responds when you refuse to worship what hurt you. When you let it go, the emptiness will be brief and then a fresh wind will move through the room where that weight used to sit. Do not bargain with it, do not sentimentalize it, let it go with gratitude that it taught you to choose life. You feel alone sometimes because your spirit outgrew conversations that once satisfied you. That is not arrogance, that is growth. Do not dim your honesty to fit into rooms built on pretense. God is aligning companions who will not be intimidated by your light, who will not flinch when you speak truth with love, who will not run when you say, "I need help." Watch how the next connections come without performance, without the exhausting audition of pretending to be smaller than your calling. The test is simple: where you have to shrink, you cannot stay. Where you are free to be whole, plant your feet and bloom. You worried that you missed your moment. You did not. Your timeline is not late, it is precise. Your detours did not cancel your destiny, they equipped you to protect it. The years you call wasted taught your heart the language of compassion that your future will require. The delays built discernment, the failures built wisdom, the embarrassments built humility, the victories built gratitude. And now, the clock of heaven strikes a new hour. The word is, now begin. Not begin when you feel ready, not begin when they approve, not begin when the fear is gone. Begin now, while the fear sees that it no longer has the final vote. I am lifting the veil from your provision. The resources you need are not imaginary, they are assigned. There are people who will favor you for reasons they cannot explain. There are doors that will open because your name was spoken in the right ear at the right time. There are locations where your steps will feel strangely familiar because you were shown them in dreams you barely remember. Look for the signs, small confirmations, an unexpected message, a repeated phrase, a sense of calm where there used to be noise. These are not coincidences, they are mile markers. When you see them, whisper, "Thank you," and keep walking. Concerning your family, the cycle breaks with you. The Lord says, I am cutting the cord that tied generations to fear, to lack, to secrecy that bred shame. You will raise your standard and your children, by blood or by influence, will rise without the weights you carried. I am healing patterns that looked like personalities. I am exposing agreements made in pain so you can replace them with truth spoken in love. You do not have to carry what your parents never learned how to name. You are not dishonoring them by healing, you are honoring them by finishing the battles they started but could not end. About your work, I am pouring insight that makes complex things simple. While others scramble, you will be still, and in stillness you will see the path everyone else missed. That idea you set aside because it felt too bold, pick it up. The timing that once felt wrong is ripening. Approach with quiet confidence. Present what you have clearly and let me breathe on it. Do not inflate it with ego, do not deflate it with fear. Speak to it like a seed, precise, hopeful, disciplined. The right eyes will see it. The right hands will carry it. The right season has arrived to surround it. Regarding your heart, you have been loyal to promises that no longer exist. Release the ghosts of almost and maybe. They do not deserve your midnight. There is a love that does not punish you for being honest, does not turn your vulnerability into leverage, does not make you question whether joy is safe. I am preparing you to receive a love that blesses your calling instead of bargaining against it. You will no longer be asked to choose between purpose and tenderness. The two will walk together, and you will not be ashamed of wanting both. Guard your heart, but do not lock it. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors with wise keys. I speak to your body, peace to your nervous system, rest to your muscles that have been bracing for an impact that is not coming, balance to your hormones, strength to your immune defenses, oxygen to your breath. Let your cells hear this: we are safe now. The threat you rehearsed has lost its stage. The tension you carried like armor can be set down. Your posture will tell the story first, your glow will tell it next, your endurance will confirm it for those who doubted. Be patient with your healing. It is both sudden and gradual, a door and a dawn. And now I deliver a warning wrapped in mercy: watch your agreements. Do not sign with your mouth what your spirit does not accept. The smallest yes can become a leash if it is spoken to please fear. Slow down before you commit. Ask, does this align with who I am becoming? If it does not, your no is holy. Heaven will back it. Say it kindly, firmly, and without apologies that turn boundaries into suggestions. You are not difficult for protecting your peace. You are wise. God says, I am not trying to take things from you. I am trying to release you from what can't carry where I am taking you. You will not lose anything that loves you in truth. What falls away under the weight of honesty was never yours. Trust the pruning. New fruit needs light, and I am opening the canopy. Lift your hands, inside if not outside, and receive what is falling now: clarity like clean water, favor like morning light, courage like steady fire, provision like doors unlocking, companionship like laughter in the kitchen, purpose like the bell that rings at the start of a new day. Let gratitude move through you. Let forgiveness empty the last pockets of bitterness so there is room for joy to live. You do not have to figure it all out tonight. You only have to agree with what God already decided, that your story turns here. I stand at your threshold, and I announce this over you: the curse is broken, the tide is turning, the harvest is ready, the angels are assigned, the timing is now. You will not miss what is yours. You will not sabotage what you prayed for. You will not hand your crown to exhaustion or fear. You will walk with a calm that confuses the storm and a joy that makes sorrow release its grip. When your name is mentioned, peace will follow. When you enter a room, solutions will soften the air. When you rest, heaven will keep building. Do this before you sleep. Place your hand over your heart and say, I agree with the goodness of God. I renounce the lie of not enough. I welcome what heaven has written for me. Let this be your final thought as you close your eyes. Wake knowing that the first sound you hear, the fan, the birds, the distant city, will be your reminder that life is choosing you again, and you are choosing life back. I am Michael, and I have delivered what was given. The rest will be revealed as you walk. Remember, if you had opened this yesterday, it would still have been true, but opening it now is perfect. Do not skip this moment. Breathe it in. Stand in it. Move with it. The door of blessings is not a myth, it is real, and it is open as you obey. Go forward without flinching. Heaven is ahead of you, behind you, and within you. Finally, you opened this special message sent by the living God, and even now the air around you changes as if the room itself takes a breath, because heaven has been leaning over your life, waiting for this opening, waiting for this moment where your heart says yes and your spirit says I am ready, and I, the Lord your God, speak to you with kindness that is stronger than iron and with mercy that travels faster than fear, to tell you that your delay has not cancelled your destiny and your hesitation has not erased your inheritance, and though you have walked through hours that felt like iron doors and mirrors that showed you only your weakness, I have preserved your name in the fire and guarded your steps in the storm and kept a crown unwilted for the day you would hear me again. Hear me, child, do not skip this, do not turn away, for your door of blessings is already turning on its hinges, and the sound you hear is not the echo of loss but the song of a new beginning that refuses to be silenced, and I, the Lord, send my warrior Michael to stand at your threshold, to hold back what devoured you, to announce what belongs to you, to say with a voice like a trumpet inside your bones that the waiting has an end and the end is now. You have thought that silence meant abandonment, that closed mouths among the people you trusted meant that I had closed mine, but I was gathering the pieces the enemy scattered, I was weaving the loose threads the enemy unraveled, I was visiting the places you could not reach and speaking to hearts you could not change, and I was adding weight to your endurance so that lightness would not make you proud, and I was letting the night deepen so that your sunrise would be undeniable, and in the meantime, I set watchmen over your sleep and I numbered your tears as if they were seeds, and now the harvest calls your name, now the ground answers your footsteps, now the river that avoided your hands turns toward your house. I saw the letter you never received, I saw the apology that was drafted and deleted, I saw the promise that was dangled and withdrawn, and I have judged the motives and sifted the plans, and what was meant to demean you will become the platform that displays you, because I am the Lord who makes a table out of the very wood used to build your prison, and I am the Lord who makes a celebration out of the very day your enemies circled to mourn you, and I am the Lord who brings honey from the rock, and oil from the place where no roots should live. Listen to me, you did not imagine the weight pressing on your chest in the night, nor the eyes that watched you from the corner of common places, nor the way your name has been passed like a parcel through circles that do not love you, but I have sent Michael to take back the parcel, to cut away the ropes of their talk, to place your name in the chambers of favor where mud cannot stick, and he speaks even now, finally, because you finally opened, and he says with the authority I put upon him, that the file on your life being handled by the accuser has been stamped with my verdict, forgiven, beloved, restored, accelerated. The delays you learned to live with became a kind of furniture in your soul, chairs of disappointment, tables of compromise, cabinets of false timelines, but I am rearranging the house of your inner world, and when I move, do not resist me, for I will not ask permission to free you from what you never asked permission to pick up, and I will not apologize for healing you in public after you were broken in private, and I will not whisper when it is time to shout your victory into rooms that tried to keep you invisible. Child, I have seen the secret kindness you gave when you had little, the quiet restraint you practiced when you could have exposed, the way you honored those who did not honor you, and I took these things as offerings, and I tied them around your future like ribbons that cannot snap, and I said to your tomorrow, be generous to this one, for they sowed with trembling hands, now let them reap with laughing feet. I know the sound of your sighs, the way your shoulders sink at the end of the day, the way your thoughts argue like crowded birds, and I come as Prince of Peace to settle the flock, to still the air, to give you the deep breath that is not just oxygen but certainty, because my peace is not the absence of noise but the presence of my voice louder than any noise, and my peace does not negotiate with fear, it arrests fear and exiles it. So receive me where you are. You do not have to become perfect to be held, you do not have to fix your posture to be lifted, you do not have to resolve the math of every memory to accept the miracle that waits at your door tonight. I speak over your household. The cycles that have repeated like old songs on a loop have reached their last chorus, and the needle will not scratch back to the beginning, for I am changing the record, I am changing the melody, I am installing a new refrain of freedom that will play under your decisions, and your children will hear it, and your friendships will hear it. And even the rooms that heard you cry will hear your laughter echo against the walls that tried to learn your sorrow by heart. This is not the counterfeit happiness that comes for a day and bills you for a decade. This is the blessing that pays your debts and does not invoice your conscience. This is the joy that grows roots and fruit at the same time. This is the favor that fits you like it was cut to your measure. I am not offering bait with a hook you cannot see. I am giving bread without mold and water without bitterness, and I am inviting you to stretch your hands without shame, to let me fill them without apology, to call this mine because I first called you mine. You have been accused by voices that remembered everything you did wrong and forgot everything you survived. But I am the God who remembers the covenant and forgets the sin, and I bring you the robe that fits like dignity, the ring that fits like authority, the sandals that fit like readiness, and I say come out of the rehearsal room of regret, step onto the stage prepared for restored sons and daughters. And when you walk, do not rehearse apologies for being blessed. Do not shrink when I enlarge you, do not mumble when I amplify you, do not hang your head when I crown you. The earth groans for the revealing of my children. Let the revealing begin with you, and let it be gentle in your spirit and bold in its visibility, for I will place you in spaces where your name seems too small for the task, and then I will enlarge your name to the size of the assignment, and I will add allies you did not know you needed. And I will remove flatterers who practiced loyalty like theater but never intended to remain when truth turned on the lights. There are gifts in you that sat in the shade because the sun of your confidence went behind clouds, and I command the clouds to part. I command the old criticism to drop its echo like a stone into the sea of forgetfulness. I command your own mouth to speak life to your own heart, to break agreement with the curses thrown in jest and the labels sown in anger, because you cannot carry a new blessing with the old names clinging to your hands. Let the names fall, too late, too much, too little, too broken, too naive. Let them fall like dry leaves from a living tree, for you are living, you are rooted, you are watered, you are pruned for fruit, not punished for failure, and you will be green in every season I appoint. And when you hear the steps of envy on the floorboards near your destiny, do not answer the door with debate, answer the door with excellence, for excellence is a language that jealousy cannot speak and a weather that slander cannot survive. I saw the contract presented to your future in the realm where intentions are signed before actions. I saw clauses that looked like opportunities but smelled like traps. I saw hands smiling while palms were closed, and I overruled it. I have prepared another arrangement where your yes does not sell your soul and your no does not cost your safety, where your creativity is not harvested without your consent and your time is not tithed to altars that do not honor me. Watch as I bring a holy alignment, the phone call that redresses an old wrong, the message that sounds like a key in a lock, the meeting that feels like an answer you used to dream toward, the door that opens without you forcing it. It is not a fluke. It is me, and my angel armies orchestrate details you will call coincidence, but heaven calls choreography, and when you dance through it, do not apologize for your steps, because I trained you in silence for stages that were not yet built. The fear of missing out has tugged on your sleeve like a child in a crowded market, but I am the Father who takes your hand and says, my timing is not a thief, my timing is a shelter. The opportunity that demanded you betray your peace was not an opportunity, it was an imitation. Rest your face in my hands, hear me say that you did not ruin it, you did not lose what I ordained, you did not slow me down. I am not late, and you are not behind. I do not arrive according to gossip, I arrive according to glory, and my arrival cancels the rumor that you will always be almost. Hear me, you will not be almost healed, almost loved, almost chosen, almost provided for. I break the yoke of almost, and I give you the portion that fits like completion. I stretch a tent over you called enough, and I spread a table before you called more than enough, and I sit you in the seat that carries your name written by my own hand. You have asked me for a sign, and I give you something better. I give you discernment to read the signs already around you, to recognize the patterns that tried to recruit you into cycles of loss, to interpret your own peace as a compass, to know when a thing carries my fingerprint by the way it does not demand you to become someone else to keep it. You will notice how certain invitations feel weightless instead of hollow, how certain people make your purpose expand instead of your courage shrink, how certain rooms feed your prayer instead of starve it. This is because I, the Lord, am teaching you the taste of destiny so that you will never again mistake it for the aftertaste of manipulation. And I charge Michael to stand at the intersection where old habits try to reroute you. He will lift his sword and your path will clear. He will whisper strength into your bones where fatigue used to live rent-free. He will lift the heavy thought from your shoulders and return it to the pit where it belonged. Know this, I have gone into your family lines like a gardener entering an overgrown vineyard, and I am cutting the thorns that wrapped around identities. I am uprooting the roots that drank shame as water. I am replanting truth where lies pretended to be protection, and I am calling forth a vintage from your lineage that will taste like resilience and grace. The blessings that stop with you will begin with you. The blessings that began before you will not bypass you, and the blessings that belong to generations after you are already leaning forward. I bless your hands to build, your eyes to see pathways where others see dead ends, your ears to hear wisdom even when pride would prefer flattery. I bless your rest to be sweet and your waking to be purposeful. I bless your wallet to be honest and your heart to be generous. I bless your home to be a lighthouse for those who are drowning but not a hotel for chaos that refuses to change. I bless your voice to heal where it speaks truth and to be silent where silence is the only sermon the situation deserves. I break the agreement you made without knowing with words that were spoken over you by tired mouths, and I write over those places with my own script, chosen, whole, equipped, desired, protected. I release resources you did not know were assigned to you, relationships that feel like bridges over canyons, ideas that open like flowers under pressure, strategies that come in ordinary moments like a sudden clearing in a forest, and courage that returns like a friend you thought moved away. Watch as bills become testimonies and tasks become training and interruptions become introductions. Watch as what used to frighten you begins to bore you because you will outgrow the scale of that enemy. Watch as you look back and bless the day you kept walking. Child, you must understand, repentance is not a courtroom where you are humiliated but a river where you are washed. Surrender is not a funeral where you lose your color but a sunrise where you find your face. Obedience is not a cage where your freedom starves but a key where your purpose breathes. So give me the part of you that still negotiates with lesser loves. Give me the part of you that worries about being too much or not enough. Give me the schedule that never asks me for wisdom. Give me the conversation you rehearse at 3 a.m. I will not mock you for what you carry. I will trade you for what you cannot carry, beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Wear what I give you, even if your shoulders are not used to such a light fabric, even if your reflection startles you into awe, even if old friends try to fit you back into yesterday's measurements. And hear the word of my angel, Michael, assigned to your path in this hour. Beloved of the Most High, stand and do not break your stance. The decree has gone out. The barriers built by accusation are falling like brittle walls under rain. The watchers that mocked your pace are silenced. The pages the enemy wrote about you are torn. The sanction of heaven that lifts you has been sealed. Step forward. The ground will hold you. He speaks because I sent him. He guards because I commanded him. He fights because you are worth the fight. When you feel the wind suddenly change in your room, it is because the gates of delay lost their hinges. When you sense a warmth in your chest where cold lived, it is because courage has returned with friends. Do not be impressed with the size of your valley, be impressed with the size of my shepherding. Do not count the shadows on the wall, count the mercy at your back. Do not keep a ledger of betrayals, keep a record of the rescues. I am rewriting your story so that even the dark chapters make sense as prologues to light, and I am doing it without humiliating you, without exposing what I already covered, without making a spectacle of what I healed in secret. Your testimony will be loud enough without you shouting. Your breakthrough will be obvious enough without you defending it. Your peace will be sturdy enough without you proving it. And when new doors open, and they will open, enter them with gratitude, not suspicion. Let wisdom test the hinges, but do not delay my joy by rehearsing old pain at every threshold. I appoint this season as a corridor of confirmations, 3 in a row that will remind you I am precise, the right word from an unlikely mouth, the right provision at an unexpected hour, the right release from an old hold that used to tighten when you tried to breathe bigger. Mark them, not with superstition but with gratitude. Write them down so that when the next storm pretends to be permanent you can read what is actually true. And when you feel the pull to hide your light, remember that you are not responsible for the eyes that prefer darkness, you are responsible to shine according to the measure I poured in you. Shine without cruelty, shine without arrogance, shine with the compassion of someone who remembers the cave and the chains but does not worship them. I speak now to the fear of the future that disguises itself as planning, release my child. I speak to the shame of the past that disguises itself as humility, release my child. I speak to the confusion of the present that disguises itself as complexity, release my child. I am not confused. I am not outnumbered. I am not late. I am the Lord who walks on what tries to drown you, who sleeps in storms to teach you mastery, who wakes with a word to teach you authority. Draw near. Open your hands. Close your ears to the chorus that profits from your panic. Eat the bread of my presence. Drink the cup of my courage. Rest while I war. Move when I whisper. And when I tell you to laugh, laugh even in places that trained you to be quiet. This is the moment you have begged for without knowing how to describe it, the hour where your yes weighs more than your history, the minute where the oil refuses to run out, the second where the lock hears the right key. Do not skip this. Breathe and receive. You are not the mistake you made, you are the miracle I'm making. You are not the sum of what they said, you are the echo of what I speak. You are not late, you are right on time for the unveiling I ordained. Let the door swing wide. Let goodness and mercy follow you with the determination of loyal guards. Let favor locate the address of your humility. Let healing provincial as rain touch the fields you called barren. Let the sound of chains falling become your new morning song. I bless your going out and your coming in, your smallest errand and your largest dream, your private worship and your public work. I bless your feet to find the right paths, your hands to choose the right tools, your tongue to construct worlds where your family can breathe. I bless your memory to keep the lessons and drop the poison. I bless your sleep to be a classroom where angels teach courage. I bless your day to be a canvas where kindness writes its initials. And I bless you with the unembarrassed certainty that you are loved, not in theory but in practice, not from a distance but up close, not for usefulness but for you. Finally, you opened this special message, and heaven records this minute as a turning of the page. Walk forward. Keep this in your mouth like fire and honey. When fear knocks, let faith answer. When accusation visits, let grace host the conversation. When old doors rattle, let new doors sing. The blessing is not on layaway, it is present. The favor is not pending, it is active. The future is not an enemy, it is a garden already watered. Rise, beloved. Wear what I give. Take what I hand. Leave what I remove. And know, more sure than sunrise, stronger than the stubbornness of stone, that I, the Lord your God, am with you, and Michael stands at your door, and this time the door does not close on you, it opens for you and will not close again.